My name's Mariah, and today I'm going to be doing my May wrap up. So I know that my last video was just my April wrap up, so I'm sorry that there's two wrap ups in a row, but I do have a couple ideas for some videos coming out in the future, and I have another camping vlog because we're going camping I think tomorrow, so I'm really excited for that. So yeah, anyways, also I'm not gonna do a TBR this month at all. The last 2 months I have really been struggling with reading, so this month I'm just gonna play catch up. Everything that I haven't read the past 2 months that have been on my TBR, I'm reading them this month, hopefully. um, anyways, so yeah, the books that I didn't end up reading this month that were on my TBR from last month are Silence of the Girls, Sea Wife, Wicked Deep, Neon Gods, Beast of Extraordinary Circumstance, and Project Hail Mary. So, as you can see, I really didn't read that much this month. I only read 7 books, which it's not bad, but it's not great. It's not how many I want to be reading. I want to be one of those girls who read like 20 books, but alas, that is not me. So, anyways, I'm going to start with books as usual that I didn't like, going to books that I really, really like so I can end on a happy, good note. So, starting with the book that I started and I haven't finished yet, but this is not a permanent DNF at all. I feel like I really am going to enjoy this book, which is ironic because this was the pick for my lowest rated prediction, and that is The Night Swim by Megan Golden. Not a permanent DNF at all. I started reading that as soon as I finished False Witness, and they're very similar in their subject matter and their subject matter. And so I just really didn't feel like reading something about sexual assault and rape like back to back. It's just not the vibes that I'm wanting multiple times in a row, you know? So yeah, this book is about a podcaster named Rachel who is investigating for her new season this rape trial of an Olympic, I believe he's an Olympic swimmer who is accused of a high school girl. So she's in town trying to investigate for this trial, but she gets a note on her car that is asking for help to solve another case for someone's sister. And this really freaks her out because, you know, she's not known. She's known in the podcast world. She's like #1 true crime podcaster, but she's not known like physically. Nobody knows really what she looks like. So when she gets recognized and there's a note on her car, she's like, the fuck? And this girl is very adamant about like she needs Rachel's help. She needs her to figure out what happened to her sister because the papers say her sister drowned. But her sister is very adamant that it's murder. So is Rachel going to end up helping her? I feel like it's a really good premise. I really enjoyed the audiobook as I was listening to it, but like I said, it was just too much close together. So it's a soft DNF for now. All right, the next one that I listened to was Wilder Girls by Rory Power, and that was for the LGBTQ horror book pick. And here's the thing. In the first half of this book, I was eating it up. I loved it. First of all, it's a really fast-paced book, but the end really killed it for me. I hate an ambiguous ending or lack of an ending. Like, to me, that's just lazy. Give me an ending, even if it's not happy. I don't care, but I need an ending. And that book gave me no ending, nothing at all. So what Wilder Girls is about is these girls who are on this island called, for a boarding school called Raxter. And there's a disease. The whole island is under quarantine for these girls. And there's a disease called the tox. that essentially has gotten into all of their bodies. It started with like adults and the teachers and stuff, and now it's affecting all of the girls, and it pretty much like mutates them. That some of them have gotten like extra spinal cord or like another heart, like crazy shit. So yeah, these girls, the talks, what's happening. All of a sudden, one day, one of their friends goes missing. And two of them are like, well, no. Like, she was just okay. She wasn't okay, but she was just alive. Like, where did she go? So they're on a mission to find their friend, and in the process of finding her, finding out what is actually happening on the island, what is the talks, what is the what's the government doing about it. There's also a lot of nuances about like living in group situations and shitty things people make, or people in authority make them do and not tell the other girls, as like pitting them against each other in a weird fucked up sort of way. So yeah, like I said, first half of this book was great. I was loving it, but the end is really where it just like crashed and burned for me, unfortunately. So the next one that I read was Ariadne by Jennifer Saint, and this was for, I think, the author who was older than me pick. And this was just another book, but this is also the reason why I've just kind of stopped rating books, at least on YouTube. I still have rating them on Goodreads. Maybe I'm going to stop doing that, but I really don't write reviews on Goodreads because I give reviews at like the end of the month on YouTube. Anyways, that's not important. Um, but I feel like reading is just so, it's like in the moment, like how you're feeling, your mood, your emotions, what you're going through when you're reading that. And I really think that affected me reading this because I just was not in the mythology mood. And I forced myself to listen to this because it was on my TBR. And I don't want to do that. Like, why did I do that? Why did I think that that was going to turn out good? It was just very bleh to me, which is sad because I really wanted to love this book because I loved Circe and Song of Achilles. It's right there. So yeah, I don't know. It just, I also think it was probably the audiobook because I think you should probably read this physically. The audiobook, the narrator did not give the two girls different voices. She used literally the same voice for Ariadne and Phaedra. Like, it made it very confusing trying to listen to that and figure out who am I like whose perspective am I listening to, because you switch between Phaedra and Ariadne a lot. So anyways, this book is about Ariadne and Phaedra and their life on Crete with their horrible father Minos, and they have a brother who was born the Minotaur, and he is crazy. He has to have sacrifices being made to him, like humans, whole humans, live humans, um, like to keep him under like control. It's weird. So, anyways, when some guy comes to the island to kill the Minotaur, Ariadne sees this as an opportunity. Like, ooh, I can fall in love with this guy and like I can run away with him. But as as Greek mythology goes, that's probably not what's going to happen, you know? So yeah, I don't know. It was okay. It was okay. I guess that's all I'll say. Okay, so these last five books are the like top of the month for sure. I highly recommend you check all of these out. So next is Comfort Me with Apples by Catherine M. Valente. And this was for the book about dolls pick. And Goodreads did me a little bit dirty on this one. I mean, they said it was about dolls, and in a weird, fucked up kind of way, I guess it is. Definitely not the dolls that you're thinking of that a normal person would think of. But I mean, yeah, I it it sure it could be about dolls. Um and like everybody, I hate when people are like, you can't explain this book because no, really, this book is 2 hours long on an audiobook. I think it's like 150 pages. If I explained this book in the slightest, you'd know what it was about. But at the same time, as you're listening to it, up until the end, you're like, what is happening? Like, what is going on with these people? This girl. But yeah, in the end, you're like, oh, so that's what's happened. So that's fucked up. So that makes me think about things. So yeah, highly recommend. So the next two I listened to were Sleeping Giants and Waking Gods. The Themis Files. I have not listened to the third one yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to listen to the third one. I really enjoyed how the second one ended, and with all the bad reviews for the third book, I'm happy with the way the second one ended. So anyways, Sleeping Giants, the first one is about this girl named Rose who stumbles upon this giant hand. Well, stumble is a gentle word. She falls into this pit in the earth, like a crater, and ends up in the palm of this big, huge, giant robotic hand. And after she falls in and people find her, she gets a little, oh my God, I feel like there is a piece of hair somewhere right here, and it is driving me up the wall. Anyways, after she does that, she ends up getting a little obsessed with this hand and how it works, and if there's more, and if there's, are there more than just the hand laid out around the earth? Do they work? Are they operational? Little obsessive. But, I mean, I guess that's good because she's super smart, and she ends up being the lead physicist, I think the lead physicist or something, to this group of, like, her team to find, and if she's correct with her theories, operate this thing, this hand, and if there's more. And she gets interviewed by this unnamed interviewer, which is arguably the best part. And also, if you read these, listen to the audiobooks, because I don't even know if you would get the same experience like physically reading, because this is a full cast narration. Like, I think there's at least 5 people, like 5 different people. Like, it's so immersive, and like they do the sound effects, and it's just such a good, like, audio visual experience. Visual, not visual. Audio, audit. Nope, not even gonna try that. I don't even know what word I was trying to think of. You see, every single time, words and me. So yeah, she's interviewed by this unnamed interviewer who we never find out his name, and his power, who he works for, is also a little unknown. And the biggest question is, if they find more to this robot, if there is more, if they can get this operational, is that actually good? Like, good for them? Is that the correct outcome that should have been? Or should they have just left this thing to be buried where it was? I'm not really going to say much about the second book, Waking Gods. I feel like if I go too much into that, it's really going to spoil the first one. You should just listen to them. They're great. All right, not the last one. The next to last one is False Witness by Karen Slaughter. Oof, this book was so good. Like, I really went into this knowing like very, very, very little, but it was, it made me cry a lot, which is not like me at all. This was really hard to read. And you want to talk about something that's going to piss you off? Yeah. So essentially, this is about two sisters who, when they were younger, bad things happened to them. Trigger warning for sexual assault and rape and all that fun, good stuff. This entire book is about sexual assault and rape. So that's not for you. This book is not going to be for you. Yeah, things that they go through. One of the sisters, Lee, I believe, is a lawyer who gets tasked with this case, and she soon realizes why she's the one who got picked, because she knows the guy, and she's a defense attorney, so she's used to getting these assholes off that a lot of the times are guilty and she knows are guilty, and so she grapples with that whole thing of, I'm literally getting people who have admitted to me of raping women, and I had that, like, my whole job is to get them off and walk free. So she gets tasked with another rape case, but for somebody that she knows a little too well. And yeah, I don't want to say much. It's so good. It's hard to read, but it's amazing. You should read it. All right, the last final book that I, like, literally maybe 30 minutes ago just got done listening to, and that is Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes. And I don't know if it's just, I'm just in a my sci-fi era right now, but I'm loving every single sci-fi book I pick up. Waking Gods, Sleeping Giants, The Recursion last month, Dead Silent, like, I'm here for it, which is a good thing, hopefully, for Project Hail Mary this month, which means I may actually read it. She's still a big girl, so she is intimidating, but I'm very hopeful because I'm really enjoying sci-fi. But anyways, Dead Silence is about this crew and this woman named Claire, Claire was the sole survivor of this entire planet. As a child, she was rescued and everyone around her was dead. And no one knows how she was the only one able to survive. So she was brought up in this, like, weird company foster home. My neighbors are being loud. Anyway, she grows up in this foster home for the company, I think. And wow, that really just fucked me up. So, anyways, like I was saying, she was brought up in this company style foster home. And then later in life, she ends up getting a job with that company that rescued her and, like, fostered her and stuff. So she's really never known anything other than this company, which is already a little weird. But she is a team leader to this crew on a spaceship who's tasked to save other ships that are, like, distress signals, I think. And they're on their way back. She is supposed to be coming off of her missions. Like, she's essentially retiring, I guess. And she doesn't want to. But, like, all of a sudden, they hear this, or they get this distress signal from way out in the ether. And they all collectively decide they're going to go check it out. And what they find is a ship, but is that ship something they really need to find? Like, that's where the story really picks up. When they find this ship, shit hits the fan. Yeah. It is crazy, it's great, and it's also what I've been loving, at least about the sci-fi books that I've been reading recently, is it's not hard to understand. There's not huge, weird vocabulary that you're going to have to look up. It's like very straightforward. It's very good. Very good. So yeah, that was all the books that I read this month. I really hope to read a lot more next month. Since we're going camping, I have a ton of books downloaded, so hopefully I'll get some reading done on that since I'm going to vlog it. So yeah. Anyways, I really hope that you enjoyed this wrap up. Please give me a like and subscribe if you did. I really, really, really appreciate it. I promise one day I will get better at talking and explaining books. I promise. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day or night or whatever time it is when you're watching. Bye!